The Nintendo Switch has been my favorite console this generation, and it's not the first time I've said that. I've gone on record plenty of times. And the big thing about the Switch has been its mobility and its flexibility and its ease of use between taking your games on the go and just putting them back on your TV. And initially, this is exactly what drew me into Google Stadia. Now, initially when Stadia came out, they had a very limited range of devices you could use in a mobile environment. Typically just the Pixel lines, and me, I'm not usually a Pixel user, but I did have an extra Pixel laying around eventually that I got for Stadia specifically. But, eventually I was waiting for the Samsung lines to get introduced. Maybe iOS devices get introduced, and we're still waiting the Apple things, but we do have Samsung support. But here's the thing. Currently, this is the official way to play Google Stadia games in a mobile environment. Pretty cumbersome, right? Now, you have to have your phone, obviously, of course. And for some reason, officially supported is the wireless side? No, it's not. You have to plug it in officially. You can go through the desktop app, of course, or through the desktop website on your Chrome browser, but that's kind of cumbersome. It's an extra step, and it's just not for me, okay? It's a cumbersome setup, and when it talks about using this thing, the claw has been known, and Google has said themselves, that it can scratch your controller. Now, I have it on my Founders controller right there, my little preview there, and I hope it'll be fine. I have it usually on my Premiere controller when I really, really want to use it, but I haven't used this thing since I got something called the Razer Kishi, which is what we're going to be talking about today, and something that has been absolutely been something that people have been waiting for, and maybe, just maybe, it has flown under the radar for you, because I know it has for me. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down if this is good in terms of a replacement for your claw, or if it's just a good setup to play Stadia on a mobile device right now. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to click subscribe, get yourself notified by turning those bell notifications on, and you'll get up-to-date notifications on when we go live with new content right here on the channel. Of course, this is an interesting thing we're doing here. I'm actually recording this live on Twitch, over on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/clubstadia. If you missed the memo, last Saturday during our Just Dance benefit stream, that was our last gameplay live stream on the channel. We're kind of separating a little bit. We're just doing our content and the podcast over on YouTube, and we're doing our live gameplay stuff over on Twitch. So go ahead and follow that if you haven't already. The link is in the description. So the Razer Kishi has been something I've been anticipating since I ever found out about it, because I am such a big fan of the Nintendo Switch and what it offers, because I'm a big fan of just when this was introduced and they said you can play the best Zelda games, the best Mario games in a handheld environment, and you're not going to have these degradations in terms of quality or the actual scope of the game. It's going to be exactly what you would play on TV, just in handheld form. I was like, yes, let's do that. Now, Google Stadia was promising the same thing, but unlike Nintendo, Google has been able to get the bigger third-party support when it comes to bigger games like Red Dead Redemption, Borderlands 3, Doom Eternal, which Nintendo's supposed to get, but they still haven't, but Stadia has. We're supposed to be getting Cyberpunk 2077 eventually. We're going to get Madden, we're going to get Jedi Fallen Order. The list goes on. Things you just can't do on a Switch. But to me, as I kind of said already, playing on Stadia on a mobile environment, I don't know. It's just not too conducive for me, I think, because the weight of it is a little off to me. It is centered in a way that's supposed to be a little bit better for, handheld gaming. But me, typically when I play mobile gaming, sometimes I'm in bed, and the way it's kind of set up is just not very good because it's kind of falling at you. Don't like that. But with the Switch, I've always had an easy way of going about when it comes to playing, and when I'm laying down or just kind of just lounging a little bit. Now, the thing about the Razer Kishi, we got to talk about the bad stuff right away, because there is some bad things that you need to know right off the bat. Now, the first thing and foremost is that it's not supported every device officially. So when I say that, this is what I found out. In The Verge was the first review I read about the Kishi, and immediately it talks about like all the Samsung devices it's available for, and the one they said it excludes, and they specifically said, is the S20 Ultra, which is what I have, and my Kishi was already shipped when I read that. I was like, okay, that kind of sucks. But okay, here it is. I was like, all right, we'll try it anyway. It's coming anyway. If it doesn't work, worst case scenario, we'll use it on the Pixel 3. But I got it. Actually, before I got it, I was watching a review on the Kishi here. I believe it was Lions Tech Tip, who was using Note 10 or Note 9. And the dimensions is only off by like maybe 0.5 inches. Like, maybe it'll work. So then when I took it when I got it out, I tried it and I was like, okay, well, the case can't be on, which is a fact. You cannot have a case on if your phone is as big as the S20 Ultra. But I mean, lo and behold, it snugs in there. It snugs. And it just barely clips on. You gotta really stretch it. And here's the thing. I'm just gonna point this out to you right now that I am not liable if you snap this thing, put it on your S20 Ultra, because I don't know, it might be possible to do that. But the fact of the matter is, it does stretch it quite a bit. Ace over Cloud Gaming Extreme, he's had a problem with his, I believe, Note 10 Plus. It starts to bend his device, and I hope that doesn't happen to mine. I think mine's more of a glass build, so shouldn't have that problem, but that's something to keep a note on. And it's not officially supported by Razer Kishi, so just keep that in mind in case of maybe warranty issues come up and they ask you what phone are you using, and they said, oh, it's the S20 Ultra. I was like, well, it's not officially supported. It's like, oh, well, we said so. But that's just something to keep in mind. Another thing to really keep in mind is if you're maybe someone that likes wiring in how they listen to things, not going to be able to do that unless they're lying to us. So right down here, which you can maybe see if I put it up here. Nah, you're not going to be able to. I'm not going to get it focused. But it's a USB-C pass-through. Now, it's there for charging, and it's for charging your device. This doesn't take a charge. You don't have to charge the Kishi itself. But if, say, my S20 Ultra has super fast charging, it loses that. It's just normal charging, trickle charging, whatever the case may be. So it doesn't charge at the best capacity. And when you're playing Stadia, it may not even charge or just barely hold the charge as it is. Now, I'm not sure, because I have no way of testing this, if you can plug in a headphone set that is USB-C compatible. I have not tested that because I don't have that. I use Bluetooth. I've always used Bluetooth for the last, 5 years at this point. So that is not a big problem for me, but it may be for you. Now, another big thing you need to know about the Razer Kishi is absolutely the price. The price of the Kishi is $80. That's kind of a steep price. If you talk about the Claw and the Stadia controller, which you already might have the Stadia controller, you already might have another controller at home, and just buying a Claw might be a lot more cost beneficial to you. Maybe. To me, it didn't really matter because I like the form factor of the Kishi personally. I like the way it's like very Switch-like. So that's important to me, but it may not be important to you. I did have something I wanted to say. Of course, I should have wrote this down. Hello, Internet. Yeah, I remember what the problem was. It was the grip. I don't know why I didn't come up with this actually on the spot when I was talking about it. With the Switch, they have the Satisfy grip. Awesome thing to make it much more comfortable. The actual gripping of the device, I have no idea why I didn't come up with this. I didn't not come up with it, but I don't know why I didn't actually say this while we were actually talking about it live. Because that does get a little sore after a while, but I have big hands, so you know, maybe it's me and not you. But something to keep in note is that it is kind of a smaller form factor, so it can be a little tiresome on your hands and your wrists if you play it for too long. So back to the actual video and me not really screwing up all that much. All right. Now here is my biggest problem right out the gate because, well, the instructions didn't really tell me so. And I may show the video of this because I had to kind of mimic it because at this point it's not a problem because I fixed it. But right out the gate, the S20 series, Samsung specifically, is not, it's supported by Razer Kishi, except when you use the Razer Kishi on the S20 series without a software update, mind you, when you press up and down, it goes left and right. When you press left and right, it goes left and right. So left and right works. When you press up and down, it does not work. So with that in mind, I was like, okay, what's going on? So, I mean, this was being a new device, it really wasn't anything out there in the either. So I had to go to the actual support website and see if there's something about it. Fortunately, there was. And at the very bottom, it says this specifically. When connected to a Samsung S20 series phone, the Razer Kishi's up-down buttons are registering as left and right. As of 11th June 2020, an update on the app has been released to fix this issue. Now, for me, I had no idea there was a Razer Kishi app at all. I really didn't. But there is. And unfortunately, that's all you need to do. You plug in the Razer Kishi. There's like a pairing mode that it tells you how to do it when you're actually snapping the phone in there. And then it triggers the update. And that actually fixed the issues. And I was like, how am I going to play Mortal Kombat like this? I don't know. I really don't know. But it is what it is. So onto the pros. What's really cool about the Razer Kishi? Well, everything I'd hoped for, to be honest. Everything about the Razer Kishi that I wanted it to be is just that. It's... I shouldn't say that right off the gate because, I mean, we'll get there why. But the Razer Kishi is very Switch-like, exactly like I hoped. And to me, it's a lighter feel than the Stadia controller plus the Claw. And it just feels a lot more natural, I guess, in a way, because instead of like doing this and kind of looking like this, I'm feeling much more comfortable in my shoulders about the way they normally would, and kind of just playing like this. Now, are you going to be a competitive gamer playing on the Razer Kishi? Absolutely not. You just aren't, because maybe you will. I can't. Like, I cannot play shooters. I can't play fighting games or anything that requires me to be truly competitive very well on a handheld device. The Switch is no exception. So even when I got the Hori Split Pad Pro for the regular Nintendo Switch, which is like the Daemon X Machina extremely huge Joy-Cons, I still wasn't really that great playing, shooters. Yes, I'm not that great of a FPS gamer to begin with, but I mean, you think you'd be a little better compared to how you normally play handheld. It really didn't make me that much better. So the fact of the matter is, I'm not going to be a better competitive gamer playing this, but the fact of the matter is, I can play games like Assassin's Creed and enjoy the hell out of it and lose hours in it. I can still play Destiny and still enjoy hours out of that, and I don't need to be really good at Destiny or any games for that matter to really enjoy it, because it's still let me play a game that I want to play in a mobile environment that you just can't do anywhere else. This machine right here can't play Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It just can't do it. Destiny 2, it just can't do it. Now, unless cloud gaming truly comes to the Switch like, it has over in Japan with an Assassin's Creed game, then maybe we'll talk then, but it just hasn't. And that's what Stadia has done so well. It's given me so many great games to play in an environment that is just like this. And the Razer Kishi does exactly what I'd hoped for and more, in terms of that it has the ability to just... It's an easy connection. All you have to do, as I already kind of showed you at the beginning, is just plug it into the USB Type-C, put the other side on, and it's ready to go. It is literally ready to go. You open the Stadia app, and you click the game you want, and boom, you're in. The only thing I've found out playing this way, I guess it's true when I play with the Claw too, is that you can't have the Stadia app in landscape mode. And of course, when you're playing the game, it is in landscape mode, but the Stadia app just doesn't force in landscape mode, which it should. But I mean, that's an entirely separate subject, because the mobile app of Stadia needs a lot of work. That being said, I mean, it's very, very good. But there's also some bad stuff I do want to touch on that I kind of skipped over. There is no share button on here, even though their share button is kind of pointless on Stadia's actual controller at the moment. No assistant button. All you have is the home button, a back button, and the start button. Or I guess it would be a select button, not a back button. So you're still missing the assistant button, and you're also missing the share button. So the home button acts as the Stadia button does on the Stadia controller. So that's fine. The build quality outside of the sticks, not good. I mean, they're fine. Like, you're not going to go wrong with them, but they don't justify the price, to be honest. So the buttons are very mushy. On the bright side, when I'm laying in bed, it's not making a lot of noise, which is good. That's actually a pro in that side. But when they're not making noises, typically they're mushy, and it doesn't really work well for like games that just kind of require a much more faster pace, I think, to it. So I can do combos in Mortal Kombat, but I feel like something's just missing, because it's just too long of a press to make it very precise, in my opinion. Now, I know I rambled throughout a lot of this, but here's the bottom line, really. I like the mobile use of this, and it does exactly what I want it to do. Now, with Stadia, it's perfect. It works exactly like it's intended, minus the out-of-the-box issue where I had to get the update. It does work with other third-party stuff. The only thing I've tested it with so far has been Fortnite and Call of Duty Mobile. It does not work with Call of Duty Mobile. You need a Bluetooth controller for that. And you may be able to do some other wired controller, but when I wired my Stadia controller, it didn't work with that either. But it doesn't work with that. With Fortnite, it will work. It actually recognizes the buttons as if it was an Xbox controller. So it's really cool. I'm pretty sure it'll work with emulators and maybe some other games. I'm hoping it'll work with Knights of the Old Republic. That's a game I wanted to test with it, but I have not done so. So keep that in mind. Of course, if you're over on the Twitch channel, you'll actually be able to ask questions about this specifically. And I'll do so in the comment section below too. So if you want me to test maybe a certain game or a certain app and see if it'll work, I can absolutely do that for you, because I'm not returning this. I'm keeping it. It's the only way I've been playing for the last few days on Stadia, minus our live streams. It's been awesome. It's been an awesome way to play games mobilely. And I get the kind of the all over the place nature of this video. It's just because I'm kind of just doing this one take, make and bake, and doing it with our live stream audience over on Twitch right now. And just wanted to kind of give you my first impressions of it, my just live thoughts about it. So let's round it off one more time. The good. Mobile, the sticks, the ease of use, the quickness of being able to set it up, and the lightness of it. Like, it is very, very light. It barely adds any weight to your phone. It puts your phone in a very snug state, which is really cool. So, I mean, it's not like wobbly or anything like that. But it's something I've been looking forward to for something like this. Yes, there's other ways of doing this exact thing, but I think this does it extremely well. The bad things, and these are things that may be bad enough that you'll be like, I can't do that. There's no way to use a headphone with this that's wired. You have to use Bluetooth. The lack of a couple buttons, the fact that you have to dive deep into a support page at the very bottom to find out why your S20 is registering buttons the wrong way. I thought I had to return it. And that $80 price point might be just a touch too much, especially if you already own a controller already. I mean, unless you are a fan of what the Switch does in terms of its mobile, its handheld, and it's just ease of use, then $80 might be a touch too much. I can get that. So if that is your issue, don't get this. If $80 is something you can just throw and get something like this, I absolutely recommend it. I don't want to say it's always dependent on the price, but it really is. I mean, if you love playing games in a mobile environment, you need to have this thing. I absolutely 100% recommend it. If you want to play competitively, I don't think playing in a mobile environment's for you. So, I mean, that's not something I could recommend. So, I mean, with Stadia, it works perfectly fine. It's meant to work with, I believe, GFN and other cloud gaming services, too. That's actually why this was designed in the first place. So, you should have no problem using it there. Like I said, the only things I've tested with has been Fortnite, Call of Duty Mobile, which does not work, and then, of course, Google Stadia. So, if you're with me here in the chat, you can absolutely ask what it works with. We'll find it out. Just throw a game in there, and I'll go try it out. Or do so in the comment section here on YouTube, which you can absolutely do, and we'll figure this out together. And you can stay here in the comment section and let me know how you enjoyed the Razer Kishi. Did you pick it up, and is it worth your money, or are you going to send that bad boy back? Let me know in the comment section down below. Of course, if you haven't already, like this video because it does help this channel out, believe it or not. And then share this with a friend who is interested in the Razer Kishi, or maybe just another way to enjoy games in a mobile environment, because for me, this does it. This is exactly what I wanted, and it's just I'm almost at a loss of words for how perfect of a use case it is for me personally. The reason why I love the Switch is because of just look how beautiful this is. Like, this is a full AAA game system. Now Stadia, which does Switch games better when Switch games show up on Stadia, but it does. That's an unpopular opinion, but it does. Stadia might be passing up the Switch in terms of my favorite console. They just need the games. Once the games come to the Stadia, it's like, okay, game over, gangbusters. It's over. Stadia's officially won my favorite console of this generation. But of course, let me know in your thoughts down below in the comments, as I already mentioned. Like, share, subscribe. And of course, we're over at twitch.tv/Club Stadia for new live streams that we do of games. And then every other Friday, we do the Stadia Initiative podcast. We just did episode 5 last Friday. And we also did another side mission podcast with the boys over at the Sounds of Stadia. It was a brilliant hour-and-a-half discussion about Stadia communication. I'm interested in seeing if we get some big Stadia news today and the rest of the week, as we are in the summer of gaming, folks. So, until next time, I want to thank you, as always, for your support. And not only that, I want to thank my awesome YouTube members here that you can see on this awesome thing I'm kind of waving at. Maybe I'm on the wrong side again, because I do that a lot. But yes, these guys get shouted every week. And by the way, if you are a YouTube member here, since we're moving our live streams over to Twitch, I'm going to be launching in July videos specifically for our YouTube members as just an extra way to say thank you, and just give you an extra perk, since you cannot really use my emotes as much as you could before. So in the meantime, I want to thank you once again, and as always, party on.